I was sitting on the couch with my wife and I turned to her and I said, you know what? I want to help people become millionaires. That's what I want to do. And she looked at me like I was insane. And it was, I want to build people with 5 pillars. I want to build their mental health, their physical health, their emotional health. And then the last one, which is the big one, is financial. I think a lot of people are looking for happiness and a lot of people are looking for riches. And I think there's a really, really simple principle that every single one of us should chase. And I think it's peace.
Hey, Keaton, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, my man. I'm honored.
Now, I know for a fact, for any people out there at the moment, they're looking at you and they're going, I know him, it's Muscle Diesel Brothers, I know that. But there's a lot that people don't know about you. Now, me and you met at Dan Fleischman's party. We were with our mutual friend, Sean Whalen over there. And, you know, I met you. We got on. We hit it off straight off the bat. So everything was cool there. You've got an incredible event that is just insane. I'm going to tease with that, and we're going to go into that. But, of course, getting to know you and seeing you, you know, you're a big, prominent lad. But then when I started to find out about you, you've built over 30 successful businesses, including a cookie company, a dental office, plastic surgery, apparel line, sports supplements. You have bounced around and disrupted so many industries. And, of course, you've now got a TV show. Mm-hmm. Were you not kind of going, because it's the classic one, stick to your lane? Because you are the polar opposite of that. You know, apparel line, plastics, dental office. So let's go back to the beginning. How did that ignition of entrepreneurial spirit into any industry, where did that come from?
You know, it's kind of a crazy story, and it's a little bit, it's an emotional story, actually, and I'll try to be a little bit brief here. But when I was 21 years old, I was the oldest of 5 children, and my father actually ended up passing away when I was 21 years old. And all through my life, my dad was fairly successful. He was a go to college, get a job, become the CEO kind of guy. And he told me that, you know, the safe route, stay in your lane, exactly what you're saying, and then retire at 65 and live your life. And when he died, the last year of his life, I watched his company just kind of take a shit on him. And I watched everything that he had taught me up to that point was complete bullshit. There was no safety net. There was no safety in anything that he had done. So I watched as my dad passed, and I remember specifically thinking, like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be on a deathbed with these kinds of regrets and live the way my dad lived. Now, I love him, rest his soul, but he didn't do what I wanted to do. So when I was 21, after he passed away, I said, you know what, dude, I'm going to do everything I want to do. I'm going to become everything I want to become. And when I sit on my deathbed, I want to laugh at the life that I've had with the memories that I have. And I want to say I did everything that I wanted to do. And I didn't know then at 21 what that really meant. I didn't understand it. But I decided at 21, I'm never working for anybody, and I'm going to make the life that I want. So I actually started a personal training company. I opened a gym. And then I went in and I opened a dental office. I opened a plastic surgery clinic, a marketing company, an energy drink company, a supplement company. And from the time I was 21 to the time I was 30, I literally had 25 companies that I personally had started from almost $0, every single one of them. And dude, from there, I literally just figured out this life is 100% what you make it. And I started that at 21, and I didn't really figure it out until I was about 30 years old, of just all day, every day, doing what I want, how I want, and then making money doing it.
Hey, I'm sorry for interrupting this podcast. I know it's a brilliant one, but I wanted to talk to you about your room, your connections. Now, we know full well that great things come from great connections and great rooms. Now, if you're in a room full of people that will challenge you, inspire you, motivate you, and support you, then great. But if not, then maybe I have the solution for you. Head on over to steveDsims.com, look up Sims Distillery there, and join our community of creative disruptors, those that are only not there to help you and motivate and actually give you information, but to support and answer questions. We very much vet the room to make sure that we support each other's growth. We all want each other to grow. So if you want to be in the right room, head on over to steveDsims.com/Sims Distillery, and I'll see you inside my room. Enjoy the rest of the show. So I can understand the training aspect. I can understand the gym. I can understand the supplements. I suppose I could understand the plastic surgery. You know, you don't want to do the good work in the gym. You go to the plastic surgeon, they'll do it for you. But the dental office and then the media marketing company, where did they come from?
You know, it's so funny. Every time, and this is plastic surgery included, dental office included, I would do something on a regular basis and I would look for holes in the market of things that people needed that were not being serviced. So, you know, to be very frank and transparent, when I was 24, I got my wife a breast augmentation. And while I was there, I was like, there's a lot of holes in this system of plastic surgery. So I sat down with the doctor that actually performed the surgery and I said, hey, you know what? I think I can make you more successful. If you'll shut up and do surgery, I'll run the business. I know there's tons of holes and I know I can help you to blow this place up, which we did. I still remember when I was 25 years old, we opened a plastic surgery clinic. We did 65 breast augmentations the first month of opening. One of the fastest growing plastic surgery clinics in Utah, which Utah is like the second biggest plastic surgery state in the United States. And we just blew up. And it was from a sense of me looking at things, seeing holes and seeing how I could fill it. And I did that everywhere I went. The dental office, same thing. I got in and I saw there was a huge need for people who didn't have insurance, but had money and just wanted to pay for their dental work throughout the year. So it was fairly simple. I always was looking for holes. And every single time in my daily routine, I would look at holes in businesses and see how I could fill them. And then I would just go to work and figure out how to structure the deal. Because as a young kid, I had no money. I had zero money. So I had to get in there and figure out how to actually structure deals to make it work for what I wanted, which was to make money and build businesses.
As I've traveled around the planet and been very fortunate enough to speak to very successful people, you included, there is a thread that goes beyond languages and culture. And that is that entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, see opportunity. And you've repeatedly said it here. I just saw holes. I saw holes and I knew I could plug it. I knew I could fix it. So that got you into all of those areas. You never had it coming up, but then you felt a need to actually share that knowledge with other people. Now, there are some successful people that I know that have gone, I know how to do this. I'm not going to tell anyone else so I can keep going. But you wanted to get out there and actually start getting your knowledge out there and actually start getting other people in a position of being millionaires. So where did that come from? Why did it start and how long has it been around?
You know, so my whole goal when I turned 21, actually, after my father passed, was that I wanted to take care of my family and I wanted to be a millionaire. I wanted to be a self-made millionaire, which when you get there, you realize you didn't do it by yourself. You have tons of people that help you. And anybody who says otherwise is full of shit. No one's self-made. Everybody's helped, you know, whether you want to admit it or not. But I wanted to be a millionaire by the time I was 30. So I was crushing and rushing everything I could to make money. And actually, by the time I turned 30, I was in cash. I had made $1 million. Well, I had started about 20 companies by then. And then from 30 to now I'm 35, I had started another about 15 companies. In fact, I'm starting a company in 3 weeks just because I love doing it. But I got to a point almost exactly a year ago where I looked around at everybody around me who I had loved and grown up with. And I realized that I was outgrowing those people financially and successfully. And I didn't look at it in a prideful way. I looked at it in a way that I wanted to help people. So I was sitting on the couch with my wife, and this is literally Limitless Society is 1 year old. I was sitting on the couch with my wife and I turned to her and I said, you know what? I want to help people become millionaires. That's what I want to do. And she looked at me like I was insane. She's like, what the hell does that even mean? And I said, I don't know yet. But I got on my social media the next day and I said, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to make 10 people a millionaire this year. And of course, I got thousands and thousands of messages of people that are like, I want to do it. I don't know how. And I thought, well, shit, I know how. I've done it. I've started companies from nothing. I bought companies. I've sold companies. I've scaled companies. I've done everything I've been able to do pretty much on my own. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have money. I didn't have capital. So I said, you know what? I need to start a program where I can teach people how to get what they want out of life. So I started Limitless Society. And same thing, that next night, I was sitting on the couch with my wife and I said, well, I guess I bit something off. I don't know what I'm going to do. And she said, well, you got to have a program. What are you going to call it? So I told her, and I'm very, very hard on this. I firmly believe that people have zero limitations. The only limitations they have are the beliefs that they've been given from the time they were born. All the limits we have in our mind, they were given to us. And if I can help people get rid of those limits or those limiting beliefs and really, really understand their capabilities, that they're limitless, I could teach them to do anything. So I said that to my wife. She said, well, you should call it Limitless. And I thought, you know what? I love that. And then the next day I looked at my DMs. I had like 12,000 messages. And I thought, this is going to be the craziest society I've ever even thought about. So I thought, you know what? We're going to name it Limitless Society. So I started the program and all I said was, listen, I know millions and millions of people are going to come into this. I'm looking for the people who really want to change their lives and want to make millions of dollars and then want to actually become the best version of themselves, because I don't give a shit to help people become rich. I want you to become successful in every single aspect of your life, everything. So I began to put this idea together literally a year ago. And it was, I want to build people with 5 pillars. I want to build their mental health, their physical health, their emotional health, and what most people really, really worry about, their what did I say? Mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. And then the last one, which is the big one, is financial. But everybody focuses on the financial. And I said, you know what? I got to teach the 4 first to get to the 5th. So that's how Limitless Society started literally a year ago. And I have just been on fire because I've started now 35 companies and nothing has paid me the way that this has paid me, with the love and emotion that I was able to give any company ever. Like, this has been the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. I literally get to watch people go from living paycheck to paycheck, horrible relationships, horrible father or mother, bad wife, bad husband, and I watch them spark and change, and everything in their life twists. And they begin to find happiness and peace and success and money and health and all of those things. And I'll tell you, Steve, it is absolutely unreal.
So why is there a disconnect? And I've seen this many times within, my coaching and within the clients that, luckily I was able to interview over the years. There's a huge disconnect between rich and successful. And you've emphasized it. People want to be rich, but you want to make them successful. Why don't people understand that they're actually 2 separate things?
I just recently, I kind of dissected this. I think a lot of people are looking for happiness and a lot of people are looking for riches. And I think there's a really, really simple principle that every single one of us should chase. And I think it's peace. And it sounds crazy, but when you're at peace, that means you're in a place where you are happy with everything around you, no matter what it is, no matter what level you're on. I'm at peace with what is around me. And in that peace, I find happiness and gratitude and gratefulness and all of those wonderful things. I know so many people who are rich as and they are horrible people, horrible on the inside, horrible to other people. They're angry, they're upset. There is zero peace in their life, and they have more money in their bank than they know what to do with. So ultimately, I dissected it to come to this idea that, dude, forget riches. Success is when you are able to finally find the peace in your core that you deserve. And when you find that peace, everything falls in place. You become a better father, a better husband, a better man, a better friend, a better provider. You make more money. You become more healthy. Every single thing in your life begins to click, because when you find peace, everything changes. And I'll tell you, the people who have the least amount of peace are usually the richest.
Have you found peace, or do you think it's an ever-going circle to maintain it?
I got to tell you, one of my favorite speakers is Ed Milet. And at my last event that he spoke at, he stood on the stage and he was in front of about 1,100 people. And the first thing he said is, "Are you guys crazy? None of you are taking notes right now." And I was like, "Oh shit, it was my event." I was like, "I better take notes." And he stood on the stage and he said, "I'm worth almost $1 billion and I'm speaking to you right now and you're not writing." So that hit me. And one of the things that for me that I like to portray, just like Ed, now I'm not worth $1 billion. I'm not. One day I will be. But right now I'm not. This is what I tell people though when I get on stage. Are you guys crazy? Do you know how many people will stand in front of you that will tell you they are living the exact life that they want to live? That is less than a millionaire. That is less than a billionaire. There are way more billionaires and millionaires than there are men or women who will stand in front of you and say, "This life I'm living right now is exactly in every single aspect the life that I want and that I chose and that I want to live." So that's what I tell people. Listen, I have more peace and happiness and gratitude than I ever even thought was possible. And that's one of the reasons why I want to teach. Listen, if you're looking for somebody who's just going to make you filthy fucking rich, go to somebody else. But if you want someone who will teach you to take your life to exactly where you belong, I say belong because everybody should be here. And that is ultimate peace, ultimate happiness, and having every single aspect of your life exactly the way you ever dreamed or desired. And so when you ask me personally, do I have peace? Oh my gosh. I wake up every day and I could spend the whole day listing off all of the things I'm grateful for that I have peace in. My marriage, my children and our relationships, my friendships, my businesses, my physical, my spiritual, my mental, my emotional, everything. Now, that's not to say I can't still progress. But man, I got to tell you, I don't know a lot of people who will stand in front of millions and say, the life I'm living is literally exactly to the T, the life that I wanted.
Now, you're a very positive, upbeat person, and you're very successful. And you do a lot on social. Social is where parasites live.
Yeah.
And they love to throw shit. So as a successful, prominent, powerful person that not only lives their life on their terms, how do you ignore, handle, how do you put up with that distraction? Do you recognize it? How do you handle the social trolls?
You know, it's funny. I always tell people, if you ever want to see what it's like to be hated, get on my social media and roll through my comments. For some reason, I draw the haters. Now, you know, we had a TV show. It actually just finished airing. We're done with, kind of done with it. But there's 3 of us on the show, and we're all pretty similar. We all like the same things. We all have huge social medias. And for some reason, I'm the one that just gets the most hate. Just people love to hate me. And I got to tell you, long time ago, it really did bother me. It hurt my soul. Like I thought, man, these guys don't even know me. Why do they hate me? And then I learned the most important principle I think you could ever try to learn or try to grasp as an individual. And that's this. In fact, I had this conversation yesterday with somebody who I mentor. I said, as soon as you like and love yourself more than anyone else, and this is kind of weird to say for a lot of people, I like and love myself more than I do my wife or my children. Because if I place myself first and I love myself more than anyone else, guess what? No one's opinion matters to me about me. It doesn't matter. And as soon as I learned that the love that I grow for myself, I'm able to give to my family, my wife, my God, my country, all of those things, then I became a savage in figuring out how I could like and love myself more and more and more. And of course, it's a process, but I'll tell you, man, when I see those comments, not one of those comments gets even for a minute in my head, because my own opinion of myself is so much higher on the charts of what I care about than anybody else on social media. And so now it's almost a fun game. Sometimes I read it out loud to my wife and we laugh about it. Oh, look at what this guy said. Look at what this person said. I've learned to love it. And the other thing I'll tell you, and this is a big thing. In fact, I think Gary Vee talks about this. As soon as you love yourself and like yourself more than anyone else, you'll actually learn that even compliments do not affect you. When someone comes to you and says, oh, I'm proud of you, you're so great, you're so rich, you're so fabulous, you're so wonderful, you brush those off just as quickly as the insults. Because if the compliments can make you change, the insults can hurt you. But if you love yourself and the opinion of yourself more than anyone, no one's opinion, good or bad, matters to you. So I've learned this over the last, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 years. And I got to tell you, I find it a wonderful, wonderful searching game on social media to read through the hate and the comments from the trolls. Because the truth is, and I know this sounds really cliche, there ain't a motherfucker in the world doing better than me that's hating on me. There just isn't. Yeah. And so when I see that hate, the first thing I think is, your life must really suck, my man.
A lot of people will look for confidence in themselves. And you're a big fella here talking about loving yourself. And to a lot of people, they're going to find vulnerability and sensitivity and that declaration of loving yourself as a weakness. And that I find strange. It takes strength to be kind. It takes strength to be compassionate. It takes strength to look at yourself and go, okay, I've got some flaws here, because you're not saying you're perfect. No one's perfect, but you're not saying you're perfect, but you're saying, hey, I love me for who I am and what I do and what I give out in the world. But a lot of people will look at that as foo-foo vulnerability. How do you get past that? How could you speak to someone out there? And we all know it. A lot of these people that are hating are hurting. Okay. A lot of people are there going, damn, I can't get out of this rat race. I can't get out of this job. I've got shit. I've just had my car repossessed. I'm going to go on social and I'm going to throw some shit at people. So we know a lot of that hate comes from hurt. How would you speak to those people to go, whoa, hang on a minute. Take the stronger road, take the harder road and look within before you start shouting out?
You know, it's really, really funny. I've never really struggled with this idea. And I think it's because I was blessed to be a big guy. I've always been a big masculine guy. I've never had a problem feeling insecure about saying things like, dude, you should love yourself. You should like yourself. Because the truth is I genuinely believe I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet. I just do. And I say that in every sense of the world. When it comes to the kindest, I'm the kindest. When it comes to the caring, I'm the most caring. When it comes to the realest and the rawest and the same motherfucker that will get in a ring with you and kick the shit out of you, I'm that person. Because all around that chart, that's who I am. And I think, I truly think most issues that we have with people who talk shit, with people who go crazy, with trolls on the internet, if we had a society of people that would just become more real and lean into who they are rather than run from who they are, I would imagine most of the comments and the bullshit that you see would go away. But the problem is, and this really is a big deal, most people, I would say almost all people that are hating are just looking into a mirror. And they're pissed that someone like myself, who's big, who's masculine, maybe makes money, is doing something that they're capable of doing, but they don't. So the hate they give is truly hate towards themselves, that they're not willing to be that person. And as soon as you understand that concept, everything changes. Then when I see people, I'm able to have empathy and sympathy for them and say, man, I know you're hating on me. I totally get it. I feel so horrible for the life that you have. I hope one day that you'll see me as an inspiration rather than someone to be jealous and angry at. And if that happens, I guarantee you your life changes.
Talking about life-changing moments, you're about to create one for a lot of people in Utah.
Yeah.
So you're a big fella, but what the hell were you drinking when you thought you were going to put this event on? Because it is, I've spoken at many big events, and we spoke at the beginning when you were putting this together. You didn't decide to put a decent event on. You went ridiculous. And we got some mutual friends on there. You've got Jen Gottlieb, Dan Fleischman, Sean Whalen, Ed Milet, Gary Vee. You've got the who's who up there. All right. Why? First of all, where is it? What is it? And where can people find out about it? Let's hit with the basics.
Yeah. So let's start with the basics. So September 23rd in Salt Lake City, at the arena here in Salt Lake City called the Maverick Center. I'm hosting an event, and the names are so crazy and there's so many good ones. I have to write them down, and I'll list them off real quickly. But like most people who do events, and you know this because you speak at these events, most events have one keynote or two really powerful speakers. I have 15 of the craziest speakers on the planet. And I'm going to list them off. So we got Gary Vee, David Goggins, Ed Milet, Russell Brunson, Andy Frisella, Eric Thomas, Pace Morby, Ryan Pineda, Cody Sanchez, Heavy D, Tim Grover, Jen Gottlieb, Roman Atwood, Dan Fleischman, Brad Lee, Jesse Lee, Natasha Graziano, Alex Morton, Rob Bailey, Jimmy Rex, Travis Bott, and then the Attorney General, Sean Reyes. That's who we have coming. Now, when I say those names, not only are those like massive, like keynote speakers, but people are like, oh, cool. So is it a 3-day event? No. It is going to be 12 hours of the most powerful people speaking on stage, all in a row, back to back. Now, here's the crazy part. Most people, when they have David Goggins or Gary Vee or Ed Milet come out, they're like, all right, dude, he's speaking for 4 hours. He's going to crush. Nope, not me. I'm giving these speakers 45 minutes. Most of them are getting 20 minutes to speak. So it is going to be as powerful as they have in any speech to go as hard as they can, back to back to back. So anyways, we've got these guys coming out. It's a 1-day event. There's no breaks. There is a little bit of a lunch that I actually had to smash down even smaller. And here's the coolest part about the event. I host what's called a VIP event the night before in my home, where these speakers come to my house. And this is by far my favorite part of the whole thing. I allow 55 people to buy tickets to come to my home and network with those people, which, if you can imagine a room with those people in a living room, no speakers, no stage, no bullshit. It's literally 4 hours of we do whiskey, cigar, and some dinner, and it's just hang out and network, and it is absolutely insane. So you asked me why or what I was thinking. I was laying in bed like 4 months ago, and I thought, you know what? I want to have the most powerful event that you could possibly have in 1 day. 1 day. So I laid there and I thought, how am I going to make this happen? Like, I don't know. So I got with my friend Dan Fleischman, which you know, and I said, Dan, I want to do this with you. You're the king of events, and I know you can help me, and I know you'll steer me in the right direction. I already have some powerful speakers, but anyone else you think? And we just started going crazy. I was on the phone with Tony Robbins. We were on the phone with Mark Wahlberg, Kevin Hart, all of these people. And we were like, listen, I don't know what it's going to take. This is the date. We want to get you there. And we spent hours and hours and hours, and we spent $1.5 million to get these people into this arena. Now, here's the crazy part. Nobody in Utah has done an event like this. Absolutely not.
No.
9,000 people to 10,000 people fills up like an NBA stadium. I mean, I was calling people asking like Grant Cardone, and I even asked Tony Robbins when I was with him. I had lunch with him a few weeks back. I said, like, how hard is this? He's like, dude, if you're brand new in the space, this is going to be very, very hard, but it can be done. And then I started asking about Utah in and of itself. Has there ever been an event like this big with this much power? And everyone's like, no way. So I sat down with Dan and I said, Dan, we have to do this and I need your help. And I don't give a shit what it's going to take. But if I truly believe that we are limitless, if that's really what this is, then I better bring the baddest shit that anybody has seen to the stage. And even Dan was like, I'll tell you, man, I can do 22 to 2,500 people, but 10,000 people is absurd. I said, all right, perfect. Then you lean on me. I'll take us there. You just help me get there. So we put the event together and it has been absolutely insane. We haven't even really started marketing for it yet.
So what's the link? How can they find out more details about it?
So the event is called the Limitless Arena event. The link for the event is thelimitlessarena.com. Very, very simple. Tickets are actually fairly cheap. They range from $200 to $3,000, depending on what you want to get. You can even get backstage with the speakers. And then if you are really looking to network on a much higher level, which most people aren't, but there are, 10% of people that really want to spend some money, it's $10,000 to come to my house for the VIP event. And like I said, I'm only letting 55 people come and we've sold 40 tickets. So I only have 15 tickets left to that. But if this is something that your listeners are interested in, I'm telling you right now, this will be a life-changing experience, not just for what you get to hear, but the connections that will be made. And this is why, and this is what I keep telling people. The speakers are unreal, and connecting to the speakers is going to be awesome. But if I take 10,000 entrepreneurs and crush them into a stadium, can you imagine the type of business that will be done with that many people, networking with that many people? It's going to be unreal.
As we've always said, great rooms, great things happen, and you got to make sure you got a great room. So if you're putting 10,000 of the best people in a room with some of the greatest speakers in the planet, then only great things are going to come out of it. So I do congratulate you for doing, again, another ridiculously stupid thing and actually pulling it off. So I love people that have stupid goals. And I think, as you were saying before about your friends, you've got to level up. You've got to raise your standards and you've got to push yourself. And you're pushing people to be limitless. And you've turned around, and Dan's right. I've seen Dan in many big places before, but 10,000, that's big. So for you to turn around and go, yeah, it's big, but it's doable, and you're going out there to get it. You're the proving case. You're the proving point. So, boy, I wish you all the best. I'm a supporter. I'm glad you're on the show to kind of tell people about it. I will be putting the links beneath. So if you're in Utah or you want to jump on a plane over to Utah, get over there, do it. And Keaton, thanks, pal, for just showing up and being you.
Hey, thank you, my man. And again, of course, to you and to all your listeners, your ass is going to be on the next event. The next event's actually in April. And I wanted to save my invite for you for this actual call. I would like you to speak at the next event. And just so you know, I already have committed Dana White and Tony Robbins. So
then I appreciate your time for the invite, and I'll see you in April. Boy, look after yourself. Chat soon.
Thanks, brother.
Well, that was another episode of the Art of Making Things Happen podcast with me, your host, Steve Sims. If you like it, you know the scoop. Subscribe, tell your friends, share it around. Let them get benefit from this juice. And of course, if you want to change the room you're in, join Sims Distillery. Jump over to stevedsims.com/Sims Distillery, or you can find a link directly from that website. That's the room where creative disruptors get together to actually help each other become better. If you've got standards or you want higher standards, join the right room. See you next time.